capacity, but he's going to have a variety of missiles in there to apply to different types of tanks, and those are substantial amounts of space. And he's been tanking now for several minutes. That's going to have eaten up boosters. So once you accelerate this and your shield booster runs faster and faster and you eat more and more cap boosters, he's at a huge disadvantage. The question is just how long do we have to talk about it before he runs out of capacitor, because I think that's what's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to run out of capacitor. They may run out of missiles.
That
it's
is,
like,
yes.
how well were you prepped? They're probably right now, it looks like the Shadow Cartel Golem is trying just swapping missiles a little bit, seeing which one has the biggest hole.
Right.
And just going for that. We're now at 2.5 or 2.25 times extra speed.
Which is not at all appreciable, given that we have 2 stationary ships.
But these drones are going real crazy, if you can see them on the stream.
They are going pretty quickly. The missile... this is tense. This is super tense.
I don't know if I would describe this as tense.
Oh, I think this is pretty tense.
It is very crazy.
I feel tension. The Shadow Cartel Golem sitting fairly comfortably at half shields, occasionally dipping. It is worth mentioning that if at this speed, what are we at? 2.25 times 2.25. At 2.25 times normal speed, you're going to be really cycling your shield booster, all your mods quickly, which is why I said overheating is a very, very dangerous prospect at this point. But it also could be over-tanking, over-cycling your modules.
The Shadow Cartel Golem is definitely not over-cycling. But the Afterlife Golem is also hasn't been really taking any damage.
Yep.
Do you think maybe there's some burned out mods here?
Ooh. Now, well, I mean, and just as you said that, I did see a little bit of damage go down. I think, if anything, maybe the Afterlife Golem is over-tanking slightly, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world unless he mitigates his own cap booster advantage. So I think this really is just a matter of time. This Shadow Cartel Golem pilot.
All right, we're at now 3.5 times normal speed. This is the exact opposite of what happened last night with the Revenant.
Well,
here we go. Afterlife hit the Golem of Jonathan Kane. Still at full shields. Is this going to bite him in the butt later, you think?
No, I mean, but we're not even seeing missiles coming off of the Shadow Cartel Golem. Which
that's what I was positing earlier. Like, do you think Shadow Cartel maybe just overloaded missiles a little bit too much?
It's possible. I mean, at 3 times, I burn out my guns all the time. And
yeah,
that's
I noticed.
Speed.
I was flying with you yesterday. It was pretty.
That's a low blow, and I think we worked well as a team.
I think one of those things is true.
But nothing is happening. You can only assume. But then
5 times normal speed. We made it. We made it.
Can you zoom in on the golem there?
I can't zoom in any further.
It seems like missiles are coming out and instantly disappearing. I don't know into what. He's definitely firing.
Maybe he only has FOFs left and he's shooting drones. I don't know. It's so hard to see with these like ridiculous
speeds.
It's
so fast. It's not even visible. Oh, they're zoomed in. Good. We can see it now on the stream. As you can see, that's yeah. It's not a particularly informative view.
Look at those lights blinking in 5 times speed.
That is just beautiful. Very well done by the art team.
Oh, jeez. Overtime. System's now 7.5 times normal speed.
This is
madness.
Oh, whoa. Why did his shields suddenly drop that low? Do you think maybe they're trying to surprise each other now that the tie-dye is so high that they'll cut damage and then reapply it?
I don't know. Maybe. Look at that. Okay, he's got his swagger back. He's shooting again. They're both shooting again.
He's got his swagger back.
Yeah, he lost it, but he found it. So Jonathan Kane is taking more noticeable damage.
Yes, there's damage.
Well, like we can see it now.
I also feel like he's bound to be overboosted. I feel like there's no way. There is no way. And
but he clearly, like,
to the
Golem doesn't have that much, like, DPS, so, and it has a huge tank.
Right. But to the credit of the Shadow Cartel pilot, he has not once been at 100% shield, so no matter how it turns out for him, if that that lack of cap boosters is going to affect him, he at the very least did it really well. This is like the most exciting, unexciting thing that's happened to me while I've been in the commentator booth.
This is pretty interesting. Maybe I should not have rooted so hard for a Golem versus Golem matchup, but I'm really happy.
I don't know what makes you say you regret that.
Okay,
because this is awesome.
Wow, so the Afterlife wins via a tiebreaker.
Right.
Oh my goodness, look at these numbers.
So the attack bar, or was it damage?
It was off by like 3%, not even. So Afterlife wins on a minor technicality that we've never seen in an Alliance tournament match.
Oh my goodness.
And this is crazy. Hopefully the commentator booth or the studio will have more information on like all of this stuff. So we're sending it back there. That was madness. Thanks for watching Blinking Lights.
Rape is your fucking primary! Rape is the fucking primary! Everyone fucking raping now!
Go for Tower Wars, free for all. Tower Wars.
So the 7th day of Alliance Tournament 12, and they're seeing things we've never seen before.
Yes, that is the first time in a live match we've gone to the final tiebreaker, which we put in place because we wanted to encourage teams to bring high DPS setups and not to rely too much on things like kickers. And it says that if the match eventually goes to the end of the overtime period, the high-speed tie overtime period, that whichever team had more DPS at the beginning of the match, not who has more at the end, but whoever has started the match with more DPS wins. And that's an encouragement to basically bring more DPS so we have more exciting fights.
So you're saying Navy Domi teams do have a use?
Yes, if you can somehow manage to then keep them alive, tied on points until the very end of the match.
So
I knew
that will
it.
do it.
A 3% victory for the Afterlife, and Shadow Cartel are knocked out again by something really,
So
really
close.
so
Yeah.
close.
So it's the same DPS. The attack bar uses the same calculations that you get when you have the fitting window. So you show a ship fit. If you have drones in your drone bay, it takes the highest DPS combination of any drones you could possibly launch and launches that out. So actually, it's very possible that it could have just been skills that were the difference. It could have been that a couple of the Afterlife ships had some more heavy, had a full flight of heavy drones in reserve instead of just having a couple with the sentries, which means more potential DPS. But yeah, it's razor's edge. And that's one of the reasons that some of the really good teams that are trying to get every last bit out will actually pre-overload their high slots at the beginning of a match, so that when we record that number, they get the highest possible theoretical DPS number.
We said at the beginning of the match that it was going to be really close, both teams very, very good. I don't think any of us expected it to be quite that close.
Yes, Marauder versus Marauder, this was always going to be a possibility, and that's part of the reason we had this rule. That's me and Bacchanalian were talking. As soon as we saw the setups, it was a question of, are the teams going to try to burn through the Marauders, which is super risky because if the other guy goes after your DPS, then you just lose, or are they going to try to shoot each other's DPS, which almost definitely means the Marauders survive until the very end, and we counted on points, or on the attack bar values. So that was, in a lot of ways, kind of a foregone conclusion, because these Marauders can just hit the entire arena, and they can hit definitely can hit easily enough to kill off non-supported by Logi cruisers.
So we can bring up the match results screen to take a look at that for interesting effect. And it shows here that everything was broken.
Yes, I think when the match went this long, it probably overran some of it. We've seen before, actually, some matches that just are too long, too much activity, that it doesn't save it properly in this. It means that we need to do some fixing before we get it put into the, for things like nullsec viewer. That's probably going to be broken right now, but we're going to work on getting that fixed for later for people. Yeah.
So it looks like by these teams, we have the two Navitas frigs taking up non-DPS points for the Shadow Cartel team. Meaning the Afterlife could then bring a VNI instead of a Vexor, which has
Actually, that probably
slightly
did it.
bigger drone base. It's got slightly more drones, 125 bandwidth instead of 75, and that's the little edge that they got on the DPS number.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, actually. I completely forgot about that, but that is almost definitely what put the Afterlife ahead on DPS. And that's something that we want to encourage teams to bring high DPS setups because it makes for good TV. And this is the first time this particular rule has been has come to pass in a live match.
Good to have it.
Yeah. But as you can see, we are joined now by CCP Guard and Pothney. Welcome to the set, guys.
What's up, Twitch chat?
They do love that. Yeah. So tell us, Guard, what do you think so far of the Alliance tournament?
It's been super exciting. A lot of really good matches, and you know I've been sitting at home watching all of it when I'm not here, and it's been just great. And you know it's fun to hang out, talk about this and everything on Twitch.
Talk about the upsets that we've seen so far.
Yeah,
it's going to be a glorious day of battles. Do you have a favorite team that you're rooting for?
Well, I'm always a bit of a sucker for underdogs for some reason. So I'm sort of like I'm not rooting for anyone because I'm staying neutral. But I would say I'm excited to see how Test Alliance are gonna kick Hydra's ass later. You know?
Yes, so this is a bad opinion that's shared by both of us. That's good. That's very good. So tell us a little bit, Gart. You have some plans in the coming month.
Yes, we have some plans, stuff we're working on. Actually, so as people have seen, we're building a new set. We've talked about this a little bit. New TV set. We're setting up what we call a TV studio here at CCP headquarters, and we wanted to do this for a while. Set up a permanent studio where we can have everything in place, all the equipment in place, all the sets we need, and so we can run more regular programming. So this is what we are getting now, and one of the things we are going to be doing in the coming weeks is to premiere a new show that's going to be about EVE Online, both the things that we are doing for EVE Online and what the people at home are doing in EVE Online. So it's going to have this dual focus. And the first show will be premiered on September 25th. And so, yeah, we just we look forward to getting people's eyes on that and getting feedback on you know what people want, and we'll roll with it and just keep you know, manufacturing good stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things we want to do on the show is to you know, to put the focus on what players are doing. We're going to be talking to a bunch of players. We're going to interview players and show what players are doing. We're also interested in getting more player submitted content, as we've seen here on this tournament. Player submitted content is great. So for those reasons, and for you know, general reasons, if you want to share something with us for social media, you can always use the share@eveonline.com email address and just send us something interesting. If you made a great picture of, you know, of your favorite ship, or if you made a great video, or anything you want to share with us and other players.
Yeah, it's a sort of a showcase both for EVE developers and player created content, and just players in general.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we're looking forward to do. Yeah.
In September.
Yeah. September 25th, Thursday at 8 o'clock. We'll pilot this this series and see how it goes.
Here.
Yeah.
In this Twitch channel, that is.
Yeah.
Great. So let's move on to talk a little bit about the match that's coming up. We have Outbreak versus Triumvirate. Full stop on both.
Yes, yeah, the dots are going to counteract each other. The dot won the last match, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
Looks like it. So Outbreak have banned the Tango and the Gila, while Triumvirate have banned the Eos and the Ishtar. So we're continuing to see the same trend of the Gila ban. Well, this is actually
the first ban
this
today,
is the first,
yeah. So these are none of these are uncommon bans through the rest of the tournament. But it's kind of interesting that we're not seeing a Golem ban. We're not seeing a Mollusk. We're not seeing a Tengu, but we're not seeing Mollusk ban. So there's no DAP bans. Obviously, no, like Outbreak didn't bother trying to ban the Rattlesnake, and the Tri guys didn't bother trying to ban the Battlegorn because we could very easily see both these teams get around that with their flagships. But yeah, the tank, like all of these, I think are pretty standard. But in a lot of ways, they felt more standard for previous weeks. The EOS especially is something we haven't seen people relying on as much. I mean, it's being used in the drone shotgun, but there's other things you can use as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of what that means from them. They don't give a ton away, I don't think. Nothing very obvious kind of screams out at me from seeing those bans.
I mean, the Tri team, it's worth noting, they kind of had the short straw in the very first week. They had to face Hydra, who are one of the scariest teams to possibly face in the Alliance tournament, and they had them first round. They kind of unsurprisingly, despite putting up a decent fight, got chucked into the losers bracket. They've been fighting every single match through the losers bracket. If Tri get to the finals, even loser finals, they'll have played so many games, so many matches. They've had to show so many of their setups. They've had to use so much energy, but at the same time, they're now one of the most experienced teams. Like, they've seen everything, they've done everything, they've been on it, and like, just massive commendation to those players for sticking out so well.
And stacking up those mad rattlesnakes.
Yes.
It's actually interesting that we have, I did an interview with the Triumvirate people, and Starfleet Commander was good enough to take some moment out of his prepping time to talk to me about the match. And we have that ready for you to view before the first match of theirs of the day. From Triumvirate, we have Starfleet Commander talking to us. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Same here. I'm, nervous, excited. So.
Yeah. This is not your first tournament, is it?
No, this is, we've competed in both the Neos. We didn't do very well, admittedly. We've done the last couple of tournaments, one Alliance Tournament 10, but then we had some members, like for example, some of the guys from Aquila don't really play anymore and are sort of inactive, and they went their separate ways. And then we picked up some new guys when Tri was reformed, and we've obviously got some old tournament guys in our team from the old Triumvirates years and years ago, and some PL guys. So yeah, we've been around for a while now, I'd say.
Yeah, you've sure shown that you have experience as you've gone through you've fought 5 matches so far with only you initially came up against Hydra, which is unlucky, I guess.
Yeah, that match was an interesting one because we didn't look at the guns, and it was like we did everything else but like the simplest thing that we'd been doing it in the training like all the time, like looking at the ships and things, and like we didn't do it against Hydra, so it's kind of stupid, but mistakes were made, I suppose.
Mistakes were indeed made.
Yeah.
But then you've in the losers bracket you've gone through Revolution, surely you're joking, Agony Empire and Gorgon Empire.
Yeah, it's been an interesting road.
Yes.
Some very good teams, Agony and Gorgon. Revolution is really joking. They brought some interesting setups, I must admit, with Ravens. But as for Agony and Gorgon, you had 2 top-notch teams, definitely. I'd definitely say. As the commentators have said, Gorgon has got dark side, faffy team, so.
Would you say that you still get the shakes from playing in the tournament?
Absolutely. It's really is. In my opinion, especially in the Hydra match, first match, I was pretty nervous as a Logi pilot, and it's one of the few. In fact, it is because I've been playing for this game for a while now, and you sort of lose the shakes when you go in the PvP a lot, but the tournament does bring it back. I agree. It's so much resting on a match, and it really does bring it back. Yeah. Not Wargod though. Wargod's chill as hell in the games. I'll tell you that. He's playing another game usually at the start, and he's fine. Yeah, Wargod's chill.
That's good. And you still have fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just you. Even if you win or lose, it's still like the play of the tournament is the next level. Yeah. That's what it is. It's so. You've got so much more to think about than just playing in a normal game in TQ. It's just, it's better in so many ways. I find that it's, in my opinion, one of the best forms of PvP in the game, by far.
Good to hear.
It is, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the meta we've seen for the first 3 weekends of this tournament?
The meta is, I feel it's not as concentrated as last year. I feel there's a lot of different setups that can work. I've seen Tinkers work, because obviously drones are obviously still very viable in terms of Gileas and things, but Tinkers are back. They're good. Have seen some good like rapid light setups. Fight some teams. They seem to be volleying things. So it's not just drones, which is good. There's more things to worry about, and yeah, it's not just drones this year, which is nice. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for alliances that might be new to tournaments and might want to sort of get into them somehow?
I would the advice that I'd give, if you want to play in the tournament and compete at a good standard, obviously the price to get in this year was quite cheap. It's only 3 plex, so that's very good from you guys. It makes it very cheap and makes it viable for teams to come in. But I'd tell the new teams to look at, because one of the things that a lot of the teams do, and I'm sure everyone does, is look at all the other teams' setups, you know? Look at their fits, look at what they're using, and from that you can usually, you know, get together good setups, and I'd recommend practicing. That does help.
That does help.
Yeah, we for the last 2 years we didn't really do any practices, and it just doesn't really work out. So I definitely, if you can't do it on your own, find somebody, like a team to scrim with, because you might not think it doesn't do anything, but it really does. It really does get your pilots into the feel of the, you know, the arena size, and you know, you can't just kite away forever. You know, they're gonna get you eventually. So you gotta find a way to deal with that. It's just practicing is number one, and look at other teams, watch other teams, look at their fits, setups, you know, look from last year's meta, you know, sometimes it's viable this year. Some of the meta last year is still here this year, yeah, so.
Well, Starfleet Commander, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and
no problem.
Have fun during the weekend. It's always interesting to interview people that are about to fight, and
Yes.
Maybe I should have tried to pry his setups out of him.
I have a feeling he probably would have said no, but he might have appreciated the effort.
Maybe. Maybe. But yeah, we should continue talking about the bans for this match. So we are again running a little bit behind because there were some hamsters that needed to be shoveled and kicked and whatever, and I will not be surprised if we saw one of our people take a giant wrench to one of the servers just to try to beat it to obedience. Normally I would, but obviously I'm stuck here talking because I like the sound of my own voice. So guys, what do you think these bans entail?
So the Tengu Gila ban, that kind of bans out kind of the strongest shield Tinker. I think Fozzie was saying last week that the Loki Tinker is significantly less strong. And the Gila ban kind of, you know, takes apart the Minmatar Gila team that we've seen. It does leave room open for a Rattlesnake comp. I'm not sure, looking at the sheet here, if either team has a Rattlesnake flagship that could be strong.
Yeah, the Try guys have brought out the Rattlesnake flagship a couple times now. They were bringing out this Flagglesnake, and it seemed to be very effective in their previous matches.
And
so
then,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of it today.
I mean, the Eos Ishtar ban, that kind of hard bans the kind of the Sentry comp that PL brought last week that we've seen people try to bring again. So that gets rid of that. Looks like I think we'll probably see at least one armor-based tank. I mean, that's what I feel like I can really say from these set of bans.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. And I mean,
it would be very possible for both teams actually to bring stuff that revolves around their flagships. Outbreak's got a Balgorn, and you could do a Balgorn armor team that doesn't involve EOSs pretty easily still with this. And then there's a lot of options available for Try if they want to bring the Flagglesnake again.
So that's the only reason we brought CCP Guard on set, so that he could take a selfie.
Yes, and tweet them.
And tweet them, yes. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this?
I'm sad to see the Gila get banned. Yeah.
The Gila is
no Lorenzos.
Poor Larry. Poor Larry.
Let's bring all those names back from last weekend. No, let's not. So, Gard, I want to talk a little bit about what the community has planned.
Yes.
That we're not, that we haven't yet talked about. Wow, the brain farts continue.
We haven't announced yet, basically.
Yeah.
Things that are happening in the world around us.
As you can see, one of the most fun things to do is to meet other people that play EVE.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
So that's something we should...
That's something we should talk about.
Yeah.
Player gatherings, parties, both ones that players are planning and ones that we are planning. So, I mean, everybody who has played EVE for a while and has then gone on to go to a player gathering knows that it just changes the way you look at the game and you know, how you appreciate your fellow players and you know, how much fun it is to meet people you've fought with and alongside. So yeah, so we're doing we're going to a bunch of things. September 13th, there's a gathering in Nottingham. You should check this out. If you go to the out of the player event,
the
out of game events and gatherings forum.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. If you go to that, you can see the ones upcoming. There's Nottingham on September 13th. Then on September 27th, there's going to be one around Eurogamer in London. So Lilo and Falcon are going to be there. We're going to have Valkyrie at Eurogamer. So if you make it to Eurogamer, you know, maybe you can check out Valkyrie, which is it's a pretty cool game. Then we are doing a bunch of things. On October 2nd, we're having a localization launch party. So we're launching EVE in French. So we're doing a launch event for that on October the 2nd. So for that event, I'm going to be there. Lilo and Falcon are going to be there again. And we're also going to have our art manager, Basement Ben, and game designer, CCP Itterbeam. So you're going to have, if you get to that one, you're going to be able to talk to a lot of people. Then we have Amsterdam, of course.
Yes.
You went to that last year.
I went there last year.
On October 4th, just 2 days later. And again, myself, Lilo, and Falcon are going to be there. Maybe some other people, we'll see. And that's going to be pretty great. Yes. It's one of those events that's growing really fast. And then, of course, on October 17th through to the 19th, we have eVegas.
Yes.
So this is quite a schedule for the upcoming month and a half.
There's a lot of partying to do.
Yes.
A lot of talking about spaceships.
I'm super impressed that about the lineup in that French localization event.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty spectacular. And is that so? Where is that one going to be?
We are announcing the location of it just in the coming days. It's in Paris, well located in Paris, and in this beautiful gallery setting.
Oh, that's amazing.
We're going to be talking about EVE, showing EVE, and then we're gonna have some press events there, and then we're gonna open the door to everybody. Hopefully, get a lot of people from all over Europe to come in and talk to us.
And you'll get a chance to meet CCP Itterbeam, who is
Yes.
a lot of you guys are fans of his dev blogs and forum posts. He's one of our best posters here. Always writes amazing things. One of our game designers working on EVE, and he doesn't go on to very many of these events, so it's a very kind of unique opportunity.
Exactly, he's a complete hero, that man. And so this is a bunch of great things. And I mean, we're seeing. I have a feeling we're seeing like an increase in player gatherings. There's more people thinking about this. People are seeing like what's happening all around the world with these growing things, and then they start thinking about like, hey, why isn't there something in my area? And the solution to that is always just get people together.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated. Call a pub, ask them if you can show up with 10, 15 of your friends, and advertise it, see who's interested.
Yeah.
Do something. Then you can always contact us, the community team, and ask us for some help, some advice, maybe some support.
Sometimes we send something small.
Yeah.
Sometimes we send something big.
Like you.
Yeah.
Or
Just
like
pack
him.
them up.
So last year I went to Amsterdam. I feel like I have to advertise Amsterdam a little bit better because last time I went to Amsterdam and